Welcome to the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. We don't shy away and keep secrets here. We empower you with education, telling you the truth about all things aesthetic medicine while encouraging you to be the best version of yourself. It's time to look great and feel good doing it. This is your host, mom, speaker, and board-certified physician, Dr. Judith Borger.
Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 88 of the Aesthetic Doctor Podcast. Today, we continue with our expert series, and I am so pleased and honored to be joined by Dr. Julia Milman. Dr. Julia Milman is the owner of Dr. Julia Milman's Aesthetic Medicine, yes, practiced by the same name, and she has built an amazing boutique practice located in Northbrook, Illinois, which is in the northern suburbs of Chicago. She has over a decade of experience in aesthetics, and she has built a practice without advertising, without promotions, and without memberships. So I am just so curious on how she's done. We have been friends and followed each other for years, and we've had these parallel trajectories of growth over the last decade or so. So I am just so excited to talk to her about her philosophy, her business model, and her success, because we can all learn from success. So without further ado, I'm so pleased to be introducing Dr. Julia Milman to you. As I said in my intro, I'm so excited to have the one and only Dr. Julia Milman here. And her and I have really followed each other for years and admired each other's growth. And I really wanted to bring her on because, first of all, she's not only a brilliant sort of aesthetic medicine physician, she's one of the leaders in the field, but she also, I think, has a very interesting business model. And she's complete proof that quality, personalized attention, and excellence can really get you very far in business. And we also share a lot of those thoughts on business, on patient care, on what's important. So thank you for being here, and thank you for doing what you do for your patients.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You really hit it on the money. I have always admired everything that you've been doing, and I totally agree. We have very similar business philosophy, and it is honestly an honor to be on your podcast. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, thank you. So I've kind of teased your practice. So for our listeners who are not in Chicago or the Chicago suburbs where you're located, will you just tell us about your practice and what makes it so unique, especially in today's field where it's chains and commercial sort of buyouts and all of those things that are happening in aesthetics?
Yes, of course. Thank you. So we are very proud to be a physician-led practice that has pretty much a boutique feel to it. We take every single patient very seriously. We become friends with them. We are all a big, happy family, a big community, and we know everybody by name. And it is very, very individualized, very personalized. And we really kind of strive to make sure that every patient gets the best experience that they possibly can without selling, without pushing any treatments on them. It's really very, very boutique and personalized. And that is our always number one goal. We definitely follow the approach less is more 100% of the time. You'd be surprised how much I say no per day versus yes. And I do think that in this day and age where there's so much information and so many options out there, I think that really sets us apart from possibly some other people in that we take every patient very seriously and individualized.
I love that. I love that. And everything that you said like resonates so much with me. I feel like that's a lot of the approach that we take. And when people look at our retention rates, they're
Mm-hmm.
they're like, how do you have
Yeah,
these retention rates? And it's like, because generally, unless people like move, and of course, there's always the
right.
one other patient that goes anywhere, but once you're my patient, like you're my
For
patient,
sure.
and we have a relationship, and I listen to you, and I take it seriously, and I truly have your best interests in mind. And like you, I recommend less expensive or less invasive
Mhm.
treatments. People all day long. And I think people really appreciate when I say, hey, look, you're only 30, you have a tiny bit of texture. Let's not do a full ablative resurfacing. Let's just start with some microneedling. And I
Oh,
think people
absolutely.
completely appreciate that.
I couldn't agree more for sure. And I actually meet every single patient that walks through our practice. Even if they are getting a facial, I will always introduce myself and I always want to know who is in the office. So I really, really, everything you just said really, really resonates with me.
So you are your brand, right? You are the
Yes.
physician leader, you're the brand, and patients know you. So tell me how it all started. So first of all, you are an anesthesiologist by board
Mhm.
trained. Like, why don't you
Yes.
take us from, did you ever practice anesthesia? How did you make the jump? Was it gradually? Like, how did you build the practice that you have now?
Yes, of course. So I am a board trained anesthesiologist, and I still work as an anesthesiologist about once or twice per week, sometimes per month. I actually still do medical missions. I just came back from Dominican Republic where we trained local anesthesiologists doing anesthesia there. But I've always actually done both. I've done anesthesia and I've done aesthetic medicine ever since I graduated residency, which was, oh gosh, what, 17 years ago now. I started out doing both very slowly because I think, as everybody knows, and as you would attest, almost 20 years ago, aesthetic medicine was not what it is today. It has changed tremendously. I feel that before, if somebody would walk around and say that they got Botox, it was almost a taboo. And today, in this day and age, if you don't get Botox, it's almost a taboo. And I have, by the way, no problems with those of my patients who do not get Botox. I respect everybody's decision. It's a personal decision. This is not a must. It's not a need. It's just a want. But so it was very, very different. I did it very part time starting out. And the reason how I got interested in it is honestly from a personal perspective. I personally, for myself, for my face, for my aesthetic needs, I became interested in it. And probably most people know there's no such thing as an actual aesthetic residency, medicine residency. And the dynamics of the field, how quickly it changes, everything is learned through conferences, through peer to peer communication, through podcasts such as this these days. So everything I've learned was kind of over a long period of time. And it culminated in me opening up my first office about 7 years ago. And at that point, I was with a partner, so to say. And then shortly afterwards, I opened my own and I've been on my own ever since. And we just moved into a new location about a year ago. And we are very, very happy there. Being an anesthesiologist, we have excellent training in using needles and using our hands with needles. I actually used to teach courses in how to use ultrasound and how to inject local anesthetics for shoulder surgeries or other extremity surgeries. So that kind of hand dexterity is very important, obviously, in aesthetics. And that is something that has really helped me perfect my art and science behind what I do.
I love that. And I want to kind of put a note here for our listeners that we talk about I'm emergency medicine trained, you're anesthesia trained. And I think emergency medicine and anesthesia have a lot in common because we are very good with high level procedures. We're very good under pressure, and we are all very procedure trained, right? Like you said, there is no residency for aesthetics at this point, especially those of us who started a while ago. Most of the people that you now have being thought leaders in the field did start somewhere else. And over the years, started with the courses that were available, but then went to more and more conferences, are now teaching, doing all those things. And that's how we're really good and training the next generation. And it's interesting, even if you look at people are like dermatology, a lot of dermatologists get hardly any training in injectables during their residency, which is also something that sometimes surprises people because it's truly
Mm-hmm.
medical dermatology most of the time. Some of them are starting to have some cosmetics in them now, but especially the older dermatologists, have zero
Mhm.
injectable training. And even when I talk to my plastic surgeon friend, he tells me like, listen, I do cheeks, I do some lips, but honestly, you inject all day long. I want to be in the OR all day long. Yeah, I have a nurse that does my injectables for me, but really, I love doing surgery. I don't
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll inject my patients if they ask me to, but all those little things on how to do temples, especially with ultrasound guided, I don't do any of that. So non-surgical aesthetics has really become this field where there's all of us thought leaders that have come up over the last 10, 20 years with the field because the field is
Absolutely.
so new and it's continuously changing. So
Absolutely. I still
love
go to at least 2 to 3 conferences per year. I value our colleagues very much, and I love to meet with them one on one. Like you said, it's a very dynamic field, and we continue learning, we continue researching to provide the best and the safest for the patients.
Yeah. So we heard about that you started anesthesia and aesthetics at the same time. So how did you build though your brand and your office into what it is today?
So it was one patient at a time, literally. Of course, just like everybody else. At first, when you're starting out in anything, not just aesthetics, but in any hobby or any sort of field of medicine or anything else that anybody may be doing, you really do this on your friends and your family members and just here and there. And over time, you become comfortable enough and the word starts spreading that, hey, there's somebody here that maybe you should try. And it just really goes one patient at a time. I honestly, at first, the growth was very, very slow. Anybody who does any sort of aesthetic treatments knows that it's about a 3 to 4 month cycle before anybody would really consider doing another aesthetic treatment. So the trajectory of that growth is not immediately exponential by any means. It is very, very slow. One on one, I would do one patient at a time, maybe once a week, and then it would be 2 patients a week. And then slowly patients started talking about me, and this is what got us to where we are today. But it was literally one patient at a time.
And I love that you say that because I say something very similar that I sort of started with a hobby business. And then at some point I like made the decision to make it into an actual business, but that hobby business kind of enabled me to really just focus on my skills because at the time it was not needing to support anybody. Like it was a hobby business and it allowed me to build connection. And I remember still to this day, there was like, I think the second or third month that I opened. And I think I injected 2 people all month. And I think that's the reality of life, right?
Absolutely.
That so many people think that they're opening, and yes, there's like build it and they will come eventually if you're good, but there's also the reality of business and
Mhm.
economic influences and competitors and marketing, unless you're in the town where nobody else does Botox or injectables, like you're going to have to build your brand by marketing, by excellence, by your one-on-one
Mhm.
connections where people then refer to you or people say, "Oh my God, your face looks so good. Like, where did you go?" I think that's still like your best referral source.
Absolutely. 100%. It is word of mouth, I have found, is the biggest marketing tool that anybody can use. We are not in the business of, I don't know, doing nails, for example. I love my manicures, and I actually found my nail technician by word of mouth, but it's a little bit easier to advertise things that are kind of not really permanent. And it's not that aesthetics are permanent, but it can definitely have lasting effects. So you definitely want to make sure that you are going to somebody who is trusted, who is going to make you not look like a crazy person, and whose expertise you value. So definitely one person at a time, and word of mouth is really how we did it.
And recommendations are the best, right? So if you guys
Hmm.
are somewhere other than obviously looking up reviews, looking up somebody's social media and Instagram, but really when you see your friends suddenly looking amazing and ask them where they go, that is the best recommendation because we talked
Yeah.
about this a little bit at a different time before this podcast that there's some people that are very now Insta famous or TikTok
Yeah.
famous, and when you objectively look at either their training or their outcomes, it's a viral power versus a especially skilled or trained or anything. So you sort of told me that you designed all of your own stuff. Like
I
you
did.
did your marketing, your branding. Tell me about that because I did that same thing initially and it's amazing how many things we learn, right?
Oh, it was like basically getting another degree, literally. I was not one of those people who knew what Instagram was. I literally opened my Instagram account in 2020, and my kids thought that I was crazy. How did I not know what Instagram was? It was almost comical. My friends were using it, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to make a first post. And I kid you not, it took me over an hour to make the first post that I ever made. And it was not great by any means either. Looking back at it, it took me quite a long time, but it was self learning all along. I just Googled, I watched YouTube videos, I started following other Instagram accounts to get inspired, never copied anybody, of course. And I've gone through several like brand colors that really represents of who I am and how I feel aesthetics are and my vision. And anybody, if you guys have a little bit of time, you can scroll all the way down on my Instagram and see how the coloring has changed throughout the years if you feel like it. I did erase the really, really bad ones from the very beginning
I
because
did
they were
that too, by the way.
embarrassing.
I sometimes went back and I was like, wow.
It was embarrassing at first, yes. And then I was actually, so this took me years and years, and I finally figured out the brand coloring and how I wanted to be and designed the website, which by the way, I redesigned this year, but that's a different topic. But I was very fortunate to come across a woman whose name is Lindsay Pinchuk. She is somebody who teaches marketing for women over 40. And it's not that she does your marketing, she teaches you useful tools and ways how you can do things yourself without spending ridiculous amount of hours that I used to do. She gave me, for example, a idea that I should have templates for my post instead of redoing everything every single time from scratch. It seems like a very simple idea, right? But unless somebody tells you and unless somebody shows you how to do it, you really have no idea how to do it. I am honestly ridiculously endowed to her for everything that she has taught me. And really, when I met her, and when I started using her ideas and being accountable to her for what I'm doing, that is really when things took off, I think, on my social media. And I began to see a little bit faster growth than just literally one patient a month kind of stuff. Um, Also, she has an incredible community here in Chicago. It's called Dear Found Her. She also has a podcast, by the way, and she hosts all sorts of networking events, and I attend those as well. And all of that in combination, little by little, that is really what taught me and what got my brand to where it is today.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that's another really important thing that I do business coaching as well. And sometimes when you do hire somebody who, again, will coach you, will help you, you get to borrow their expertise and you really almost get to skip steps. Like
Yes.
I'm working with a client right now and like we just laid out, I know we're going to go to this next, but we just laid out her memberships. And she was like, I've been in this paralysis of wanting memberships. And I was like, well, it's actually really simple. And within one strategic session, like based on, and I was like, no, you got to make it more expensive because this won't actually pay for anything. And within one strategic session, we laid out this problem that she said she had ruminated over for 2 years. So I love that you found a coach and a community. I think community is so important. And then you can crowdsource too, right? You can sort of bounce ideas off, you can get the support, you can get the accountability, and you feel like you're surrounded by people that also get what you're going through because being a business owner sometimes can be a pretty lonely place.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. We have Zoom meetings because even though she's located in Chicago, she does have members of the community that are all over United States. We have Zoom meetings once a month where we do exactly what you had just described. Everybody, whichever field they're in, they present their current issues, and we as a community help that person to come up with a solution. And you never know, maybe one person has an ask and somebody in the community can actually answer that ask and provide whatever it is that person needs. Huge believer in community and having that support.
So I kind of brought up memberships for one of my business coaching clients I helped her build. So one of the interesting things about your business model is the fact that you don't ever do any promotions or memberships. Can you tell me like why and what it does to your business?
Absolutely. At first we did start out thinking that it would be a good idea to have promotions and discounts and to help bring in new people into the practice by providing those promotions and discounts. And honestly, over time, I have found that it is psychologically a lot easier to just price your prices as fairly and as consistently as possible without having people have to wait for that sale or special or promotion or whatever it may be. I actually even know for myself, for example, a lot of us wear big scrubs, and we all know that they have very frequent promotions. And I bet a bunch of us wait for those promotions to get our staff new scrubs. I feel that why not just have that price always and constant so that people do not feel that we are trying to trick them, do not feel that the prices could be lower or maybe it's unfair or anything of that sort. So we really just price everything as is, and everybody knows that we do not have any sort of promotions or sales ever. And that is how our business model is structured. Regarding memberships, we did toy around with the idea as well. And really, we came to the conclusion that we do not really want to lock in our patients. That is really the bottom line. I really do respect people who do have memberships. I do see the value in it, the financial value in it, and the retention rate value in it. However, I really don't mind if somebody goes and tries a different practice around the corner. There are 10 of them literally within a 2-mile radius of us. I really don't mind. And if they jive better with that other person, then that's how it was meant to be. A lot of the times when patients do go try somebody else, we are fortunate enough to see them back in our practice. So I think that a membership would kind of almost lock in that patient, and they would be a little bit resentful towards us that they can't even get a chance to try somebody else. So this is why we don't have memberships.
It's funny because I had a lot of mind drama over memberships. It is so funny because now that you say this, for the longest time, I was against memberships for that same reason, because I had once gotten a gift certificate from someone to a massage chain place. And when I went, it was such a bad experience because I just literally wanted to get that one massage that I had gotten a gift certificate for. And like 18 people almost hassled me to sign up for their membership, and it like ruined my whole experience. And I was like, I'm not a chain place. And then like it was our patients who were like, we want to do a membership. I had so many patients be like, but why is there no membership? And so our most popular membership is actually not for injectables, it's a facial membership. We do have some limited memberships, and really the most popular by far is the where you get a facial every month, and it is I think $10 cheaper than buying it, but you get a free upgrade every month. And so it's really for us mainly the facial memberships. And it is interesting because my business manager, when she like listens to this podcast, she's gonna laugh because for so many years I was like, no memberships. And it is so funny the amount of our loyal patients who are like, but we want a membership. Like finally it was like, okay, give the people what they asked for. But it's mainly for us, again, because I believe, like you, is that I very much believe in fair, transparent pricing. We do a small amount of promotions every month, and they're not crazy because like you, I don't want the discount seekers. I feel like whenever people come because they saw on Instagram that this month we're doing this off that, like A, they're never going to be back, and then B, like you said, they're just, I don't want patients to wait or to anticipate or not value our services as they are, because like you, I'm very much in fair, transparent pricing. I don't overcharge. I think for the level of service we provide, we're actually very affordable.
For sure.
With all of this, your philosophy, how do you stand out in a competitive market? Because I know it's Chicago, right? There's a lot of aesthetic places.
Oh, absolutely. There are literally, I'm not even kidding. I think last time I looked, there were 8 to 10 practices within a 2 mile radius. And by the way, I don't know everybody, not all of those owners, but I do know some of them. And they are my dear friends. I'm a huge believer of community over competition. If anybody ever needs anything, we're always helping each other out. It's never a problem. There's plenty of people for everybody, that's for sure. But how do we stand out in such a competitive market? I really hope that we stand out by providing the excellent service that we do. I really believe that people want to deal with people, and I hope that everybody that comes to our practice, they want to deal with us and they get an experience with us, that family vibe, that boutique vibe with us, and that is why they keep coming back. As I had mentioned, we know everybody by name. Everybody knows my husband who runs the office, and he does tend to be kind of a funny guy. Every Friday, we actually make a Fun Friday reel. And I think those kinds of little things, we first of all have fun doing it and we do it for ourselves and we do it with pleasure. But I think that connects us with our patients and creating the community, creating the understanding. They know what to expect from us. They don't have any questions that are never answered. They get personal attention from me. I do allow my patients to DM me through Instagram or through Facebook if they would like to get a hold of me. We, of course, have a HIPAA compliant platform, obviously, but if they always feel comfortable reaching out to me for either making fun of the reel that we just made or a serious question. And I personally answer all of those questions. And I really, really make sure that I'm present for every interaction every patient has in our office.
I love that. And I really like want to be a patient at your office now because
Oh,
there's like it's what everybody wants, right? I feel like most of our patients want to be listened to, they want to be seen. And over the years of doing aesthetics, and I'm sure you found that same way when you really listen and patients like it's so interesting because you will see like this big like dark spot on their face and you want to be like, I just want to shoot an IPL at it, right? But then they come and they're like, the only thing that I see is like this. And you're like, oh, okay. And again, because it's what they see in the mirror, that's all that matters.
for sure. We talk about it. I agree with you regarding what patients see. We talk about this quite a lot. It's interesting that we focus on ourselves when we examine our faces. We focus ourselves on different things than we as professionals with an aesthetic eye may focus on. And we have to listen to our patients because it's their faces. And unless it's, of course, not safe, or unless I do not agree with that aesthetic vision that they have, it's all fair game because it's their face. And if they notice something that bothers them that we may not notice, or we may not think that it is something that should be noticed, we have to be very patient and listening to our patients and making sure that we provide the quality service.
You are kind of doing this very slow growth model, this very individualized attention model. There is going to come a point where there's a limit on how much time, how much attention you have. How do you see like your practice going? And for me, that was really the point where I realized that I had to delegate a lot more things. But how do you see your practice growing in the near or far future?
I totally agree with you. And we are fortunate enough to have the growth. And I'm very thankful to all our patients and our whole team that helps that happen, of course. We are far from that point that you're describing. I think there's still really good flexibility in patients being able to schedule when they need to with me. I do go to a lot of conferences and I do have other responsibilities that sometimes patients may not be able to get it on the same day, of course, or anything like that. But within a couple of weeks, we're pretty much able to schedule patients. But I do think it's important to look ahead. And I think I have come to a point where I really understand my brand. I understand what I want. I understand what kind of education I want to give on Instagram. I understand the kind of talks I want to do or the kind of events I want to do. That I'm at a point that maybe I should consider maybe delegating some of these things to somebody else. I will still be very, very much involved. I think I would really appreciate somebody who can take my ideas and just put them into life. I don't think I can ever give up the control of the situation and just let somebody else do it. Our goal is always to be a boutique practice. Our goal is not to ever have more than one location or become a huge multi location practice or anything like that. Our goal is to continue being small, to continue being boutique. And other things that we are considering and that we have done already, we do have Becky, who is a nurse. She's worked with us for many years, actually, what, 5 or 6 years now. And she has had a couple of cute kids in the meantime, and now she has a little bit more time. So she is taking some of my patients, especially doing Botox for them. She's an incredible injector. So she's definitely helping me with the injection patients. We have hired 2 estheticians over the years. And again, one of them, her name is Katie. She's been with us for also ever and ever. And Lexi has been with us for over a year. And I really hope that they're going to stay with us forever and ever. And I think we will be all a team and a family forever and ever. And I will not sacrifice their schedule and their productivity to hire somebody else until it is time to hire somebody else. So not only do we value patients, I think we really try to value our teammates and because they are the ones who really help build our practice as well and build our team. And we want to make sure that they're happy as well.
I love all the things that you've said because, we've watched each other on social media and so much of our growth has been so parallel. Like we moved into our new building last year, you moved, like, right? And the same with our team. And it is so funny how many DMs I get from physicians or practice owners who are like, sometimes people like, because I run a very successful practice, even if they're not my clients, they will like panic reach out to me, which I'm always really happy to have anybody kind of help them with their things. And the amount of ones I get is like, how do we deal with turnover? Oh my God, turnover. And like you, I'm like, I don't actually have turnover. Like, like, I don't know, like the last person I think that I let go was like 5 years ago. And that was a let go after like 6 weeks because it was just wasn't a good fit. And the one before that she replaced moved for her husband's job. So it's like, I can't actually help you answer this question, like, right? Because I like my staff is my everything. And like you, I have other responsibilities. I do other things. So my staff is an extension of me and I value them so much. And I'm so interested in their growth. And I think it's actually one of the things I'm most proud of is the employer that I am.
I hope my staff can also say the same. We've really had no change either. Never has anybody left us in the practice, except like you just said, we had hired somebody one time, and after about 3 to 4 weeks, it was not a good fit, and we said we went our separate ways, and that was it. And everybody else who is with us has been with us for a long time, and we've become such good friends. I mean, it's not just going to work. I think we all come into the office looking forward to seeing each other and collaborating, and they feel comfortable giving me ideas as far as what to do and vice versa. And all of our patients love seeing the same faces, and they know everybody by name, and we eat lunch together every day. We get lunch every single day, literally, and we eat together every single day. And it's just very, very special. Actually, our front desk concierge, her name is Zaya. She has been with us for almost a year as well. And she's a nursing student, and she is actually graduating this upcoming May. And we're such a good fit that she's going to stay on and continue working with us. And maybe one of these days, eventually, she does want to learn injections as well. But for now, she's going to stay on with us because she loves us and we love her.
That's amazing. And I'm sure that's also what patients feel like when they come and you practice. Is just this really love and the care, not only that you have for patients, but that you have for each other, because we're all so sensitive to energies, right? And it's so often not talked about that it makes such a difference when you're in a true, happy, harmonious environment.
Absolutely. I honestly, at this point, if one of them had any sort of plans to move or to leave or anything, I have no idea what I would do. I think I would be like almost paralyzed and I would be in complete shock and I would be like, what? So I can't even imagine. Honestly, I hope I will never have to imagine. I mean, of course, I understand things happen in life and who knows, but we can always work together and have a mutual understanding of each other's needs.
So I have a question I ask all injectors, and that is basically number one, what is your favorite treatment to perform? And then number two, what is your favorite treatment to get?
Oh, well, one is I'll answer the one that's what's my favorite treatment to get because actually, after you and I are done today, that's exactly what I'm going to do. That is radiofrequency microneedling with erbium laser. I'm sure you will agree, everything in aesthetic medicine has to do with collagen and our loss of collagen, and anything and everything we can do to stimulate that collagen is definitely where it's at. I preach and do exactly the same thing. We do not have a single treatment in our office that I personally do not get done. And it is definitely my favorite treatment to get done, hands down, anytime, any day. Now, as far as what is my personal treatment to do to others, is hands down chin filler. I think a lot of people really do not realize how important chin balancing is for our facial profile and from the front. I myself used to have what's called in medicine, for those who are listening, a retrognathic chin, meaning that it is the apex of the chin is behind your lips. And it may look okay in the frontal view, but of course, everybody is looking at us from all sorts of angles. And the difference that little bit of filler in that area makes, to me, it is just so satisfying. And to see the expression on people's faces when they see that, when they trust me to do that, even though before they even believe that it's going to make a difference, it is just my favorite area of the face to treat.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. We are going to link all of Dr. Milman's things in the show notes, so no need to write everything down. But why don't you just kind of do a plug and a shout out for all of the people that are near you, where you're located, how can people connect with you, what's your Instagram, and anything else that you may want to promote?
Oh, thank you so much. Again, thank you for having me. It is a pleasure speaking with you. I really appreciate it. Those of you who are in the Chicagoland area, please feel free to reach out. My Instagram is just Dr. Julia Milman, Dr. Julia Milman with a 1L. And our website is the same, www.drjuliamilman.com. Same for Facebook. And we have a lot of information on Instagram, a lot of highlights on the Instagram account where you can learn about our services, about our philosophy, and get a very healthy dose of humor that we post and we collect in a highlight every single week just for fun and entertainment because we do like to keep things light. We specialize in a less is more approach, 100%. We listen to every single patient and take your concerns very seriously. It is not a problem to come in for just a facial to our practice or for more than one treatment into our practice. We have patients who do literally just a facial once every quarter, and then we have others that we have the pleasure of seeing, not really weekly, but more often, let's just say. We want to know who you are. We will listen to you. We will talk with you. We will come up with a plan that we both agree on, of course, and we will make sure that everything is done in a safe and best, highest expertise possible way.
And as you guys know, I really only invite the best to my podcast. And it's been such a pleasure to sort of follow you, to grow with you, to grow alongside with you, because we've had these really, like, as I said, it's been such a like symbiotic, like parallel journey. And I love that you came to share your philosophy. I think your patients are so lucky to have you. I want to be your patient. Maybe next time I'm in Chicago, I will drop by. Well, anyway, thank you so much for being here. As I said, your patients are so lucky to have you. And everybody in Chicago, go check out Dr. Milman. And as far as the podcast goes, I will see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Aesthetic Doctor podcast with Dr. Judith Borger. We'd love to connect with you outside of the show. Follow Dr. Borger on Instagram at Dr. Borger and find more online and ways to work with Dr. Borger at www.theaestheticdoctor.com. Until next time, be well.